This is Classic FM.
Hello, it's Jamie Crick here in the Royal Opera House. The special invitation of Sir Antonio Pappano. It's nice to see you. Thank you for letting us come into your office and see behind the scenes here. Not to talk about the opera, actually, but to talk about the Donatella Flick LSO conducting competition. And I guess with all the work you do with your orchestra in Rome, with the LSO and here at the Opera House, you're a man who would know how to judge the final. Is that where you're getting involved?
Yes, I've been asked to come into the last day, and it's the first conducting competition that I'm judging, so I'm very much looking forward to it, actually.
I'm surprised it's the first. Your conducting career goes back so many, illustrious career goes back so many years. What would you say you're looking for when you see a conductor? It must be quite hard, I suppose, for you as a conductor to watch other conductors sometimes, surely.
Well, when you're looking at another conductor, you're looking for that special spark of energy that is almost paranormal, if you like. There's something that draws the musicians to the conductor. It can be here in the arm and at the end of the baton, where this is transmitted, or it can be from the person, just from the eyes, from the aura.
Because talking to various conductors, there is this sense that you have to somehow create this personality which encompasses an entire orchestra, which must be quite hard to do because there's very few people in an orchestra.
I don't think you have to create a personality. I think you have to, as much as possible, be who you are. But of course, this is all combined with your knowledge of the music and how to communicate that knowledge, how to translate what you believe about the music to the musicians. But then that extra step of making the music jump off the page, that's where the special talent comes in.
When you talk about that communication, I read an interview that you gave to, I think it was The Guardian a little while ago, where you said that your Italian orchestra, they tend to take longer to take in what you're talking about because they tend to talk, and it's a different character to the orchestra here at the Royal Opera House. So how do you often find that players rebel against what you think the music should be like, or are they all well behaved?
That's a very, very good question. I try to find naturalness in music making. It all is based obviously on the movement of the harmonies in the music and what the rhythmic components are melodically, but the harmony does tell you how the music kind of goes. And the minute you start messing around with that, and things become not quite what they should be, that's when you'll find you have trouble with the musicians.
Right.
Because I think when you've got that many musicians playing together, it's a fantastic natural wave of energy that if you can harness that, it's an amazingly powerful thing. But they all have knowledge, talent, and they can very easily get impatient, like any mob.
Yeah. So is the relationship a bit like a marriage in some respects? You've got to listen to them, and
very much so.
And if you don't, the wife will, tell you what she thinks.
I'm not going to say it.
So in terms of music, which is there a particular composer or just style of music or the era that you find easier or for you speaks to you more than other types of music?
Well, my whole career, I've delved into just about everything, and I kind of like it that way. And I'm very curious and very restless. I want to know more, and I want to go where I probably many years ago thought, I can't go there because, well, I'm Italian, German music is not for me. But it's absolute rubbish. You learn, you imbibe, you absorb from your surroundings, by the people that you work with, by the orchestras that you work with, and by the decisions that you make. What am I going to concentrate on? What am I going to focus on? And it's a life. Being a musician is not a job, it's a life. And it takes over your life.
All-encompassing.
Completely.
My grandmother comes from Sicily. So the family name is Salamone, and I would have been something like Leonardo Salamone. Instead, I'm a Leonard, and James Leonard Crick. But there we are. But just when reading about you, your family, of course, comes from Italy, but you were born in Epping, in just outside London, and then your family moved to America. So you're an Italo-Brit-American in a sense. And it's intrigued me because I like to sort of touch base with those beginnings of my family. For you, having all those different influences, does that help in approaching different music?
Well, I have a fascination for language, which I think comes if you, from an early age, you're speaking a second language. I think it's a very, very valuable tool. The work ethic that my immigrant parents had is something that, I took over from them. There's just no question about that. And work is everything. And the dignity of work and hard work and concentrated and focused to achieve better than what you have at the moment. The American side of it is sort of about insatiable curiosity and energy for that which you don't know. If you combine them, they go in the same direction.
That belief you can have what you want. You just need to go and
for
get
it.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very important. Now, what the English side is, I don't actually know, because it's much more elusive in me. But the more and more years that I live now in London, and the more I get to know my orchestra and the people I work with here, I find a tremendous passion underneath this maybe sort of stereotypical English exterior, which is a little more reserved.
Sometimes this year's been a great example of that, sort of coming out with the
Incredible.
Jubilee and the Olympics, and sometimes people don't see that in the British and the English. They sort of think, oh, they're not like that, and then it suddenly happens.
Oh no, it's very much there, and in music, the passion for music, not only by the musicians, or that's coming from the musicians, but from the audiences, the love, the necessity of music in their life. It's really palpable, and it's a fantastic thing.
You're judging this competition at the end of it. As a conductor, I was just asking when your next concert with the LSO is, which I think May next year or something. Mm-hmm. And we were looking at your schedule. I was looking over the shoulder of your PA, who was kind of going through your assistant. You're all over them. You are traveling so much and performing in so many different places and working with so many different great orchestras and so on, and doing operas. Do you ever reach a stage where you think, no, enough, too much now? Or is it this work ethic?
I reached that stage long ago. I'm used to this kind of workload. I have two orchestras, the Royal Opera House and the Orchestra of Accademia di Santa Cecilia in Rome. But I don't conduct a lot of different orchestras. LSO, I conduct quite often, Vienna Phil, and maybe the Concertgebouw, but actually it's quite reduced. My traveling is with my Rome Orchestra on tour. I tour with them quite a bit. We're doing a Scandinavian tour, we're doing a German tour, Benelux countries. This year we were in Japan, we've been in Moscow, we've been in Vienna, we've been, and that's a fantastic thing. I need to be on the road because I'm so fixed in my fixed positions. I need to breathe the air of other countries.
Do you think that kind of helps it? Do you imbue that into the music? That you're picking up little bits of different cultures all the time, which kind of feed back into what you do.
Well, there's no question about that, but I think it's more important that the orchestra that's performing for those different publics, they're in a way selling themselves, but they're raising their game. And I think it's very, very important to challenge the orchestra. And on tour that happens because they're selling their name, their reputations, and of course the conductor also. And so I think that's very, very important in the business. Plus, for the German public to see an Italian orchestra, it's quite rare. My Italian orchestra has a style all its own, which appeals to many, many different audiences. Which my great regret is that the Royal Opera House organization doesn't tour very much because of the nature of the organization. We are so fixed here in London. But a couple of years back, we were in Japan on tour, which was very, very successful and very exciting. And to hear my orchestra in a different performing space, wow! It's I can honestly say, in an acoustic that's superior to ours, for instance, and I hear, my Lord, the real acoustical properties that my orchestra has. The acoustic here at Royal Opera House is quite dry. In Japan, there's a warm acoustic in a couple of the halls there, and
it really,
and for the orchestra to experience that, very important.
You're obviously very enthusiastic and love the work you do, and I know you did Valkyrie last night.
Yes.
So you saying that as if to say, yes, it's like being beaten around the head with that. But you get a day off tonight, at least.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Antonio Pappano, one of the world's great conductors, really terrific to have you talk to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.